Let's take a quick look at the OMPHOBBY M1 helicopter. This is a dual brushless motor. It's a direct drive. It's a small helicopter, perfect for any backyard. Comes in 3 color options. You have orange, purple, and yellow. I went ahead and went with the purple model. It's kind of a vibrant purple, kind of a purple pink. Really stands out in there. Check this out. Let's go over the contents. What you get inside this box. Inside you get the M1 kit. You also get a copy of the flybarless unit instructions. It also comes with a couple tools, one of which is a very small little wrench. Mine's anodized to the same color as my helicopter. Also comes with a couple small screwdrivers. One is hex drive, another one is just a standard flat screwdriver. Not sure why, because it appears that most screws on this are Phillips, but hopefully it still works. Also, you get the bag, and this bag has your standard little servo horns, servo arms, and various screws. One of the things about this kit is when you crash it, these things are designed to break, are one of the weak points. So this saves your servos. That's why you include this in the kit. Also in the case, of course, you get the M1 helicopter, which is a nice, vibrant color. It's really stands out in the sky. One thing nice about this case is it's very well and easy to travel. When you close it, it locks firm in place. It's got a nice little snap when you open it up. This will keep it safe in your car when you're out traveling someplace. Just in case it falls off the back seat or gets hit by a pair of jumper cables in the back of the car as it slides around. So it'll protect it too. One of the things nice about this is it's got spots for 3 batteries, and then it also has a spare compartment. This spare compartment, you could probably fit another 2, maybe 3 batteries in here. Batteries are relatively cheap. With so much space to put so many batteries, you might want to think about getting a parallel cable or a parallel board for charging. This charger cable here that comes with it is great. You can only charge 1 battery. For example, if you're using 1 battery to charge, and notice it has just a balance cable, no charge cable, so you have to use either this included cable or get a parallel board or a parallel cable that works with this. So if this takes 30 minutes to charge, so you have 30 minutes for maybe say a 4-minute flight, well, you're not getting much flight time out of it. Really, if you use a parallel board or parallel cable, you can charge up to 6 of these in that same 30 or 40 minutes allotted. What that does is give you a better charge to flight time ratio, meaning that you spend less time charging, more time flying. That's important. To build up your skill set, you practice, get out there and fly. Now let's do a size comparison. In front of me is my M2 V2 Explorer and my M1. Both of these are perfectly lined up exactly at the tail. Or if you want to do it another way, main shaft to main shaft is basically, and this is the size difference. What's key about this is if you're in a very tiny or a small yard, someplace where you don't have a lot of room to fly, this one's key. Now this one, it's small too, so you can fly in most places, but you're going into a high school gymnasium, somewhere indoor flying, this model will be spectacular. Because typically when you're in a high school gymnasium, it's not just you flying by yourself. But now let's get back to this. So as you can see, the canopy is a beautiful color. Landing gear, of course, matches. Same thing with most of it, the way the OMP does their stuff. Let's talk about the canopy. Unlike most other models out there that are this size, this is not your cheap, flimsy canopy. I mean, it's actually a pretty thick plastic. It's not cut in half and glued together in the seam here like some of them when you crash. You'll see the cheaper ones, people got them all held together by Scotch tape or some other tape just so they don't have to buy a new one. The paint on this is great. It's, not applied stickers, is actually really, really nice. One of the reasons why I think they went with a more heavy duty canopy is to protect the exposed circuit board. This is your ESC and flybarless unit all in one. That's probably why they went with that. So let's go to that part of the conversation here. So up top is your flybarless and your satellite or your receiver. This is your S-bus connection in the back, and the front one up here is your DSM, DSMX type of standard spectrum connectors. On my M2, I'm using a lemon receiver. This thing here, I was contemplating using this, which is an orange receiver, but you see, you just don't have a lot of real estate for here. I mean, you still can do it, but I got a transmitter a little while back for flying FPV, and it just so happens this transmitter will work with this helicopter. And if you get a chance, look at Buddy RC, OMP Hobbies, any one of those places, the Radiomaster TX16S. If you go to Buddy RC, TJ has a great video on this, on how to set everything up and to get it flying with this particular model. This model also gives you a little bit of telemetry off with this radio if you set it up. So let's go back to this. So it's got the internal receiver that works with the OMP protocol. Now, all we have to do is set it up for that Radiomaster, and I'm flying or use the stock Radiomaster transmitter. Now on the bottom side here, you have the ESC for everything. Notice, this is interesting. They actually put 3 bolt-on connections. Yeah, it's not soldered. Why is that important? Most people have trouble soldering something like an EC5 connector. These connectors are way smaller, so trying to solder this would take a pretty good skill set and make it much more difficult for maintenance. On this side, so when you crash, you have damage to a tail motor or something, or a tail boom, it's just a plug-in. You unplug this, pull it through the back, and you can take your motor and stuff off. One of the nice things about this is it's also direct drive. The motor is connected directly to the main shaft. It means there's no gear noise, it's quieter, it's less wear and tear, less things to maintenance. It's connected by a solid aluminum main plate in there that holds everything together, including the servos, the arms, the bearing blocks. One of the nice things about this helicopter also is the fact that you don't have to go out and spend $1,000 or a couple $100, depending on how bad some of these people go with it. Some people will buy other model helicopters, similar size, and they'll have to replace everything. They'll start replacing the blade grips with metal. They'll replace the head block with metal. They'll do the swash. Then they start doing this with metal, that with metal. That adds up really fast. Well, for the same price in this whole kit, all that's already metal. So you don't have to worry about buying that extra stuff. One of the key things also, this has a plastic frame and plastic landing gear. Basically it's nylon. What's that mean? You can squish it. So when you have that rough landing, you're not having to go ahead and, repair it. It'll help absorb it. One of the awesome things is the frame is plastic, made out of that same type of nylon material. But here's one of the key features for the canopy. Like I said, the canopy's built more rigid to take a hit and also protect your controller. But notice back here, this is important. So you see these are your canopy supports. The one thing nice about these canopy supports, unlike other companies, is usually when you snap this, you have to replace the whole frame and undo all the side, and that sucks. Or in this case, if you wind up crashing, most likely you're gonna bend it. You can bend it back. If that's not the case, you can go ahead and just put a new one in and not have to take this whole side of frame apart with the servos and everything apart, which is a pain on other models. Also, one thing for weight savings, like we mentioned before, there are no actual battery leads on this thing. There are no main leads. It's just a balance connector. All the power is powered through that to the ESC. This battery is a friction fit. So you take it, you push it in. It doesn't lock in place, it just stays there. But it's tight enough. That's why you probably have to be stuck with using OMP batteries. Not a bad thing. They're reasonably priced and they're pretty plentiful. One thing, it does hold in pretty well. Look, it won't come out. So you're not having to worry about, oh gosh, it doesn't have a Velcro strap or anything like that. It fits really snug. Your blades, they're made out of a nylon type of material too. Looks like reinforced with some possible, maybe fibers of some sort. I don't know if they're like a nylon reinforced plastic also, but you can see if I hold it here, it'll bend a little bit. So if you hit the ground, it'll take a little bit of a beating. It won't just snap, but it's rigid enough, most importantly, rigid enough for anybody who wants to fly 3D that it can handle it. Tail motor is just the same kind of setup as the M2. It's got a Sunny Sky motor on the back of it, a nice little fixed pitch prop, and it'll hold through whatever you put it through. Nice thing about this thing is it has stability mode. Depending on how you have it set up, you actually have stability mode in all three. And you just switch it on and off with a controller. That's what I plan on doing with Radiomaster, and I know you can do it on the Spectrum too if you figure out how to program it correctly. This thing weighs practically nothing, so it has very little momentum. One of the best things you can do for yourself is fly over tall grass, hay, anything they'll give, say 4 to 6+ inches of fluff. I would rather walk through some little bit of weeds to pick this up than have to repair it. Because if you're going down something like that, if you can't hit the little rescue switch or the auto stability mode that they have, and instead you hit throttle hold, well, as soon as the blade stops, you take all the momentum out of this thing. It weighs nothing. It'll instantly die out, and most times, I'd say 8 times out of 10, if you land in that fluffy stuff and you hit throttle hold, you're just picking it up, brushing the dust off, maybe unwinding some grass around the main blades or tail blade, and then setting it back up and going for flight and not ruining your day. Parts are cheap. Stock up on parts because, we're all going to have those accidents. I'd like to thank OMP Hobby for putting out such an excellent product and making the RC hobby, especially helicopter hobby, affordable to so many people who it used to not be affordable to. So that is the M1. How to make the helicopter spin in the video. Oh, I need to make the helicopter spin in the video for the shot. Oh, yeah, that's right. Wiki, Sarah across, upside down.